integrated ใช่ไหม Where can I buy the football shirt Yeah the Times Square right สวนหลวงI went to Siam Square but can't find today อะไม่มีใช่ไหม Oh I see is it in that building Chamjuri ส่วนรวมสแควร์โอ้ย it's not สระว่ายน้ำนะ National Stadium อ๋อเนี่ยชมบุญใช่ไหมอ๋อร่วง
Hello. Okay, let's continue for the second part. Okay. Before we have a break, we talk about the several issue of the product development. Okay. So we have left just some of them, and then we're gonna talk with the product documents, and then we can have the presentation of the case study. Another thing is that we know that right now the trend of the global warming, the trend about the making the world getting better about the environment. So we know that one thing that very important for the design is about the way that we make the product more friendly to the environmental, right? So this is the list of the guidelines in the case that you would like to do the design and environmentally friendly. You can see that we have about the product recycle. Is maybe you're using the recycled material, less harmful ingredients, or lighter components. Use the less energy and less material. So this is the several things that we can do. And another thing is about we all know that the product life cycle become shorter. It's become shorter because the trend of changing about the technology is have the trend of the increasing share for the technology. So that the time-based competition is probably happen a lot, right? So then it means that for every organization they need to focusing in the way that develop the new product faster than other in order to keep in the competitive advantage, right? This is because the product life cycle is getting shorter from the chain of the technology, right? So keeping faster of develop the new product will be the key, right? And if we comparing between in the past and the present about the product development, you can see this is the thing that we can compare and contrast. Normally for in the past, right, the development is going into the internal development strategy. Because in the past, they're focusing on their own product, their own organization. So when they try to develop the new product, they try to make an enhancement from the existing product. They try to develop the new product by themselves. So this is the past. But at the present, the product development is going to be the external development strategy. So we see a lot of the joint venture, merger and acquisition, or the big company purchase the smaller company. acquire, the developer acquire the supplier, and even though they're making as an alliance, so we see a lot of this strategy. So this is an external development strategy is much more happen in the present time than in the past. So if we comparing these two strategy, internal development and external development, you can see that okay, for the cost, for the internal, right, you support by your own 100% because you develop from your own product, from your own existing product. But for the external, you share it, right? How about the speed of development? For sure that external development is much more faster because you acquire the technology, you buy the new company, you buy or you acquire with the new developer. So you are not starting from zero or from slate, right? But you getting skip them by buying them or merging with them. So speed is much more faster. And how about the risk? It's sharing because you have the joint venture, you're making alliance, something like that. But for the internal development, high risk. And for sure, if you success, you're gonna getting high return as well. But right now, the way of external development strategy we see a lot because this is faster. Okay? And this is the acquiring technology that I just mentioned. That we see a lot of the alliance making the agreement, not just 100% joining, but just some degree of agreement, right? And provide the raw material or provide with the distribution center, something like that, or doing like the joint venture, so it's sharing, right, 50-50, right? And this is like learning together with other organizations. The option of purchase firm, this is about the way that you would like to speed up the development because you see the opportunity in the future that business or the company can success. So you're shortening the time by buying or merging with them. Okay, so that's something that you need to be careful and concerned about for purchasing a firm or merging and acquisition is about the culture. Right? Maybe the company have a different culture. And for sure, when the company merging together, so you're gonna lay off or have the early retire from some of the employee for sure. Right? Because you need to reduce, right? Let's say about the accounting department, you have two accounting department. It cannot be, working full stream, right? With two departments become one department. So some have to move out. So we see a lot that when you change organization by purchasing or merging about a firm, so they reorganize the structure and something that you need to concern to purchasing a firm is about the culture. That make sure that you can have move together with the different culture between the organization, something like that. Okay, next we're gonna talking about the documents, right? So let's say that you already decide the product, you're gonna make the production. So what kind of the document that you need to understand? And what kind of important document that we need to have? For example, for sure, the bill of material. This is the one that you need to have it because it shows about the list of the components that you're gonna assemble into the products. Or even though about the shop drawing or the engineering drawing, and that show the way that you're gonna connect each part together, something like that. Okay, for example. The engineering drawing and bill material here. For the engineering drawing, so some of you guys, maybe you graduated from the engineering school or the science, so maybe you have had about the experience to enroll about the graphic or engineering drawing course. You know that engineering drawing provide you with the dimensioning and the material of the products. It tells you about every part of the product, about the dimension, about the qualification, about the coding of the technologies, right? But for the bill of material, it lists all the components, and not just the list only, but also about the quantity for each of them as well, and show about how can you structure the product. So the next slide show you with the engineering drawing. So this kind of thing show you about the dimension. In this case, show about the diameter, show about the thickness, and about the what kind of the code or the qualification specification that you're gonna use for that product. Right. The next one is about the bill of material. Yes, you have like the number part of the number is described about what kind of what is the part is used for, and also about the list of the quantity for each part number. And this is not just only for the manufacturing. When you would like to making the BBQ bacon cheeseburger, you can have the bill of material as well. List everything of the component and the quantity. How about the group technology? What does it mean? The group technology is mean that you try to organize the component that have the same or similar characteristic into the one family group, right? So and then you coding them, right? So it can help you to easier to organize, and also you can know that okay, if you would like to have another part that have the same characteristics, so you just maybe adding one or more percent into getting that component, right? So for example, on the left hand side is the ungrouped part, but if we carefully to grouping into the group family part, right? You can see that okay, we can have 5 groups of them. Some of them you can see it just different based on the length of the component. Some of them maybe have the different of the the type of the school or something like that. So this is a group technology scheme. So if you can grouping it as a primary part, so it's easier to organize, it's easier to make the production, and also you can arrange much easier for the the production things. So this is the benefit, as I mentioned, right? It's reduced about the raw material and purchase because you can use some of them substitute if you have the same group, and also as I mentioned about the production, right? It's much more easier because it can improve about the layout, about the routing, or doing the machine loading or material handling things, right? And in the case of setting up time, it's much more reducing because you know that okay, they also within the same part of the group family system. So if you know that okay, when you try to setting up of the production, you try to let them have like the order connect together. So it's gonna save about the setting up time because you have spend more time to changing about the setting up of the machine because they have the same group of the family. So the machine maybe setting up is quite the same. Okay, and the design as well. So it can help you improve the design because if you can design the product that can use the same part of the family group, that would be much more advantage for your company because you can save about the cost, you can reduce about the inventory cost because you can using the very similar part to be connect into the same products. And how about the document for the production? Right. Yes, once we have the bill of material, once we have the engineering drawing, so the document for the production should be another one that we need to consider, right? This is include about the assembly drawing, assembly chart, route sheet, and about the work order, right? So let's see each of them, right? This is an assembly drawing, right? It shows about how can you assemble the products, right? Show the detail right? Just like that, when you buy something from IKEA or you buy something from the shopping mall, but you need to do it yourself, right? It shows you about the detail of assemble the product. So it's called assembly drawing. But if you have more abstract, it shows just like the diagram or the chart. We call it assembly chart, right? So for the assembly chart, it's just like the link of the diagram show about the flow of the component into the sub-assembly, and also finally making the assemble together into the final product. And also it can use to specific the location or the step that you need to have, like the inspection thing, right? So this is the assembly chart, right? It's more abstract than the assembly drawing because it shows just like the chart, it shows just like the diagram. But you can understand that, okay, we need to, connecting which part together, and then after what we're gonna do next for the sub-assembly 1 and 2, how can we assemble it into the final product. How about the root sheet? So the root sheet is show about the operations that including a time requirement. So in this case, it show about the 4 processes, show about the machine that used for each process, the operation that you're gonna perform, and also the setting up time and the operating time per unit. So in this case, you can know, okay, how long it's gonna take for the process, right? How long it's gonna take to make the production of each unit of the product. So we can see this, as information. Okay, so it can help us to organize and operate about your production, because you know that, okay, which machine that you can involve for the process, how long it's gonna take for setting up them, and how about the processing time per unit that's gonna happen for each process. Lastly is about the work order, right? Right. This is just like the instruction provide the detail about what kind of the things that you're gonna do, in what day and what item that involve which quantity, how many of the quantity, something like that. So in this case, you can see that it show about given the quantity of the particular item that usually to schedule, right? For example, the item 157C, we need quantity 175 of them. Starting date is from the May 2nd, and we want at May 4th. And the department that involved for the production is about F32, and then the location, the delivery is about department of K11, something like that. Just like the tell what detail of the particular item. How about the service design? Right, we talk about the production, we talk about the manufacturing. Yes, for the service, we also have the service design as well. We all know that the service is much more involved about interaction with the customer. So yes, if you have the high interaction with the customer, you have the higher chance to increase the customization, right? And the key of the service design is that we need to, try to first is keeping it, not getting delayed, keeping it in time, saving time to process, and also we can using the concept of cost and quality that come to the way that we making this our service as well, right? But things about the customization to the customer, how can we make it faster by reducing the interaction with the customer, by reducing about the step. How can we simplify the process in order to make it shorter, or how can we using the machine or let the customer involve into the process. So then this kind of thing that can help the designer service much more improve. Right? So we have like a process improvement, let's say. So reducing about the step, eliminate about the bottleneck, or even though you can using the machine, or you can using about the IT to help enhance the operating system. And even though you can, things about using the department that can perform all of the activities by, themselves, or using one department for all the activity, either to save the time or those kind of things. So it depends. But one strategy beside the process improvement that we can use is about the queuing theory. Right? Things about how can we organize the layout, how can we organize the system or the process in order to make the waiting time shorter. Right? And another service design is about using about the concept of things about the degree that we interact with the customer, and then we can make a design that what would be the degree that we can develop the service design that customized to that customer. Because the key issue in the service design is that it depends on the, as I mentioned, about the degree of the contact with the customer, and also about the variation of the service requirement. For example, right, you can see some service, the customer just involved at the pre-process, right? At first, they tell about their requirement, and then you just follow, right, at the end, done. Some process, right, the customer involved at the end. They're testing the product, they're testing the service, something like that. And sometimes the customer interact, right, for the whole process, right, just like the consulting project, something like that. So the degree is quite different, right? And one of the techniques that we can use from the marketing side is about using the concept of service blueprint that tell you about the activity of all the stakeholders of the, as I mentioned, all the stakeholders that are providing service to the customer, right? It tell about, who's gonna do when the customer arrive, right? Who is the contact person? So what would be the supporting system that they're gonna use, right? So if you're interested, right, you can searching for the service blueprint or study in the marketing class, right? It's gonna tell you, right, that okay, let's think that okay, if you have this kind of what the process, so on the back at the back office, front office, or other person, what they're gonna do when they have each stage of the customer contact and customer coming to the service process. Another concept is quite very important. We call the moment of truth. In this case, it means that we can try to think at the pain point of the customer. And the idea is that, okay, we try to customize the customer want for the service process, right? So then it means that at the some critical moment that the customer gonna make the decision that they're gonna satisfy or unsatisfy, we need to use that critical moment or use that point to make it getting better, right? So it means that as you are the organization that design the service, the concept of the main truth is that things that, okay, what you're gonna do at the contact point that customer gonna think that they're gonna satisfy or unsatisfy with your service. For example, you're setting up your new restaurant. The contact point that can be the point of truth that you need to make is very best is about first. The first contact is when customer arrive to your restaurant. You need to have someone to greeting the customer and take them into the table. The second one may be the moment that okay, some waiter or waitress, introduce the menu or the list of the food to the customer. The third one, maybe you can think about at the moment that you doing like the cooking. The fourth one, when you helping the cashier and make the payment from the customer, something like that. So just think that okay, the critical moment or the pain point that customer gonna impress or make the decision that they're gonna satisfy or satisfy with your service. So, and then you're gonna have is getting have the advantage for the service design. Right? So the moment truth is just like that concept that we using a lot, right? Think about the critical moment, think about the pain point, and then how can we doing the best for that point. This is an example, but I will not going into the detail. Just want to you to understand that moment truth is something like that you can try to focusing and give the best for the contact or the pain point or that moment in order to make the customer impressed, right, and satisfied with your service, right. What will be the document for the service? Okay, since the service is not directly organized just like the manufacturing, so beside the service blueprint, you can think like that. You have like a script or storyboard to tell, or the instruction to tell the employee what they're gonna do if you have this case, something like that. Or even though you can develop the manual or the SOP, right, standard operating procedure, right, to provide to the employee in order to make sure that they are doing in the same way, right, that they're gonna try to satisfy the customer. Lastly, about today is that besides that we talk about the new issue of the design and develop the product and services. So one thing that is very important is about when you make the design and then you're gonna make the transition to the production. This is quite an important moment because when you move to the production, right, you need to move in the very timely manner. So it's about the right time, right place, right, and make sure that you have the people have the responsibility to do that job. And also, it's just like the process that never complete because you need to do something continue after you make finishing the design, because making the production is just a challenge things as well. Also, nothing that can doing the best as a first time, right? So more of the organization, they have the trial, the production period a lot in order to make sure and know that okay, what they need to do in order to have the really good of their production, something like that. So this is a concept of the product and service design. We have no case study for this chapter, okay, because it's about the idea, okay. But for the next chapter, okay, we're gonna have the case study. That would be, I think, the next chapter should be the capacity, if I remember. Okay. So now this is all for me for the lecture. So next, I'm gonna ask you guys to do the case study presentation. Okay, once you finish, we go home. Okay. Okay. So I don't know which group that's gonna make the presentation. Every group submit on Cosville already, right? Okay. Cool.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So today our group is going to present the case study about the ACAT corporate forecasting. The topic that we are going to cover today is that I'm going to summarize the case. I'm going to summarize the case study and then go through what is the questions of this case study and then going to give you the solutions. Starting with the first one, the case study about the company. So the company is the electrical appliance in India, and then this company owns the two medium-sized manufacturing units, and also the primary product of this company is the voltage regulator. What is the voltage regulator? Voltage regulator is the device that used to protect the electrical appliance, like the TV refrigerators from the load of fluctuations. And then this company also focus on the rural segment. So are the customers sensitive to the pricing. And then this company cover nearly of like 100 different models. For example, TV signal booster, FM radio. And finally come to the issue of the company. So the company would like to deliberate the policy of the purchasing and the stocking of the transformer that used to produce the voltage. The voltage. They would like to forecast the stocking of the transformer that used to produce the voltage regulators. Why do they have to stock? Why do they have to forecast it? They have to forecast this because if the supplier do not know the exact amount that supplier have to send to the company, it's likely that the supplier gonna increase the cost, which leads to the beginning that the customer of this company is going to sensitive on the price. That's why company would like to forecast the demand of the transformers. And here are the startup data that giving from the case study. They give the transformer requirement during the period from the years 2006 until 2010. If you can see, the data is look like it is a seasonal that is increasing in the second quarter of the year. Another data that they give it to us is the sale figure of the refrigerator during the period, but given by the quarter. If you can see from this graph, it's also increasing at the second quarter as well. Now coming to the question, the first question is that the first question the case study asks us to give the various methods how to forecast the transformers, and then the second one is they want us to, after we did some forecast, they ask us to which method is the best one, and then the last one from the thing that company do right now, what is the suggestion on this case? The first solution is that we trying with the simple moving average. The forecast is calculated by the average the first recent month, making the average and making the average to forecast for the months after. After we using this kind of forecasting, you can see that the graph, when we have the actual data, the forecast and the actual value is quite the same, but lack in the delay of the period. And then the next thing is that after you don't have the actual value, after you don't have the actual value, the forecast value tend to go to reduce time to time. Finally, it's gonna be the straight line. We come to the conclusion that this one is not suitable. The next one is that we use weighted moving average. The method is quite the same, but we give the weight to each of the recent data. In this case, we give the weight to 50, 30, and 20. The 50 is gonna be the most recent one. The 30 gonna be the one after. With this one, we coming with a similar pattern of the result, and then at the forecast period give the forecast to be the straight line again. So in conclusion, that the simple moving average and weighted moving average is not suitable for this kind of forecast, because we don't have the actual trend, and the data that we have it looks like it's fluctuating, so it's not suitable with this. Next one is about the exponential smoothing. This one actually I have to say that it's kind of similar to the first two methods as well. But in this, we are going to consider on the percentage forecast error as well. So we're gonna apply the one that we give the weighted average to the data plus the percentage forecast error with this number. We have the alpha here. In this case, we use the percentage feedback to be equal to 0.2, and then come to the result. You will see that the actual result and the forecast one is very different. And then this kind of method requires the actual data to forecast. Therefore, we can calculate only 1 month forecast, which is the January 2011. So this kind of forecast might not suitable if you want to have the forecast in the long run. Finally, come to the last one, that we use the seasonal variation. This one, because we see the data that give from the case study is kind of seasonal, so we come up with this method. I'm going to explain step by step how we did it. The first one is that estimate the 2011 demand by using the linear line equations. If you can, linear line equation is going to be y plus b, y equal b plus y equal a plus b and time t. This one to find the equation of the 2011 demand. After we get the equation, finally 2011 demand is going to be y equal 8,874 plus 942 times t. And after we get this equation, we plug in all the year that we get. So you're going to see that total demand for per year of 2011 equal to 14,525. We divide by per month, so it's going to be per month is going to be 1,210. After we get the 2011 demand, we keep it first, and then we calculate the seasonal index. With the seasonal index, we find the average demand from 2006 to 2010 first. This is by month, and then we make the sum up this row all together and divide by 12. So we're gonna get the average demand per month. With this, we divide this row to this row, and then we're gonna get the seasonal index for the whole years. After we get seasonal index, we multiply the seasonal index with the average estimate demand of 2011. So the result is shown here. And then we contribute to the graph. If you can see from here, the trend of the actual data and the forecast is quite the same for this method. Finally, we also made the forecast, the result is shown like this. If you ask me how can I get this, actually even we don't have the actual data in 2011, but we already estimate the demand by the linear graph that I showed you before. Okay. Finally, it's come to the conclusion that our group would suggest that using seasonal variation is the most effective one, because it's also considered from the actual data that the demand of the transformers experiencing the seasonal trend, and this kind of method consider that kind of demand as well. And then the last one, what would we suggest this company to improve if they want to have the effective forecast? In the beginning of the case, they said that they starting the forecast by using only the demanding of transformer that used to sell with the voltage regulators. But as you know, that voltage regulator actually is equipped with other equipment that sell by this company as well. So if they only forecast from the voltage regulator, it means that they're gonna experience the shortage in the future for sure, because this is just for some group that they require the transformers. So our suggestion is that actually they have to combine all the sale or demand of every product that requires the transformer in that equipment and use this kind of seasonal forecast. And they should do the specific on each product as well, because we believe that each product will have a different kind of demand for at a different period of the years. Yes, this would be all of our explanation of our case study.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. So actually for this case study, you can see that we have several methods to make the forecast. So it's open-end that you can, develop, right, or combine what kind of technique that you're going to use to forecast the demand of this transformer. But actually, the key main idea, just like this group make the presentation, is that at first you should, maybe it would be better if you're plotting the graph, right? You can see something. First is have the seasonal effect. Second, if you try to sum up all the demand for each year, you can see that they have a trend where to increasing each year. And also if you do more calculation than that, you can see that the percentage of growth of increasing is reducing, right? So yes, the best way is to combine with the seasonal and also the linear trend equation would be the the better method, but in somehow, exponential smoothing, if you try to, try and error alpha, right, by using the previous information and testing with the accuracy, maybe you can have some alpha that have the very appropriate for that set of the data. And when you combine with the seasonal, maybe have the good result as well. So anyway, for this case study, I just want you to have your experience to try on order of several methods of the forecasting. There is no the right answer for the method. This would be the best one, but you should including the seasonal effect, right? And you should have like the forecast at the trend that increase from the past, because when you're looking at the overall demand for each year, it's just like have the increase each year. Okay, so okay, it's good job. And for next week, I don't know we're gonna change the classroom or not, because they're gonna have like the reunion of this business school outside. So maybe the sound is very louder. So let's see that what they're gonna arrange for us for the program. But anyway, thank you.